All right, everyone. Welcome back to another great episode of Basscast Radio. I'm your host, Brian Carter. And above me, guys, if you're watching on YouTube, appreciate all the new YouTube followers, by the way. Hank, the Bass Geek. What is happening, brother? How's the week going, man, for you, brother?
Well, it's going pretty good, I'm getting ready to, it'll be better next week because I'm getting ready to be off for 7 days. So,
Woo! That's what I'm talking about right there. That is what I am talking about. Guys, here at the basscast.com, man, we wrapped up the Basscast kayak series over the weekend on Smith Mountain Lake. 2 days. We had the Bass Nation of Virginia Kayak Championship on Sunday. The Basscast wrapped up the kayak series on Saturday. Congratulations to Mr. Jonathan Graham, who swept the whole entire thing. You're as well. Want to thank our sponsors, Journey Outdoors, our title sponsor, for giving us another kayak to give away. So I've been told his son has a brand new kayak and he's going to start fishing tournaments in 2024. So congratulations to him. You guys, what an event we had for the like I said, the Bass Nation of Virginia Kayak Series. Jody Quinn, he qualified to go to the Bassmaster Classic Kayak Series event. And Mr. Casey Reed, he was our overall winner of that event. The Bass Nation of Virginia stuff is up on the website right now. The rest of it we'll have up really, really soon. Had to make some changes, but yes, everything will be up soon. So appreciate you guys checking that out. Don't forget, this weekend is a next Basscast tournament event. So we'd love to see everyone there. If you have not ever fished with us before and would like to, or if you still need to qualify for our championship December the 9th, you need to fish one of these coming up. And it's the 4th, and I think it's the 18th is the next one after that. But let's talk about this one real quick right here. Head on over to the basscast.com, scroll down to Basscast Tourney Series schedule, I believe is what it says, and click on that. Everything that you need to know is right there. You can prepay. You got until, well, you had until last night, midnight, but we take cash at the ramp. So, yeah. Basscast Tournament Series. What are we? 1, 2, 3, 4, about 5 events left in the 2023 season for that. Now I'm going to include Cat in that, guys. That's the Basscast as well as my friends at Cat. The Dawsons run the Cat Series. And then guess what? After December the 9th, it's time to rest. It is time, not really sit back, because we have to get ready for next year. So it's no resting here. I'm just not traveling. So
yeah, that's when it starts to get geared up for me.
Yes. So we need sponsors. Ain't no other way to throw it out there. Me and Geek both need sponsors for next year.
Amen.
So if you'd like to be a part of me or Geek, just you can message me at brian@thebasscast.com if you'd like to be a part of the Basscast. And Geek, where can they reach you, brother?
They can PM, DM, something email, snail mail. It don't matter.
Care.
Send me a letter. Send me a letter to my P.O. box. Dear Bass Geek, I want to give you money. And I will write back and say, I will take it.
Guys, I'm not gonna lie to you. I have a good following on a website and on, our podcast you guys are listening to now. But Geek, like I said, the YouTube, man, he's got it covered. He's got it knocked out. Are we at 70,000 yet?
72,178 to be exact, as I look at it right now.
72,000 of you guys are Geek heads. So
72,179 we gained.
Boom. Let's get that up to 80. Come on, everybody. Let's hit that 80,000 mark. Bass Geek, like I said, we're both trying to get free. Thank you guys for all being a part of the website and checking it out. And for everyone who is following us on Basscast Radio on Facebook, in our Facebook group. So thank you for being a part of that. I accepted a bunch of new members tonight. And I'm sorry I had to lock it up, but when you get spam, sometimes you have to lock it up. And now we have to accept you. So please, it's not because of you. It's because of spam. I don't understand. If I say the bad word of fishing on Facebook, I get blocked. But if I say porn, I get approved. I'm not sure what it is. Facebook, but I mean,
so just start replacing fishing with porn. No, I love to go out and fish porn.
Fish porn. All right, guys. Tonight on the show, we got NPFL Pro, Mr. Todd Goade. As you guys all know, I hope you know. I'm sorry, guys. You need to be watching the NPFL. I'm not lying. We know there's a lot of shakeup. I've got a story that's going to drop here in the next couple of days. Got some boys reading it, making sure it's good. But you guys all know it's a lot of shakeup going on. And NPFL, man, $100,000.
There you go.
You get to fish all 3 days. Now, you ain't got to fish all 3 days. If you suck after day two, take your ass back to the house if you want to. But you get to fish all 3 days. You never know when you're going to get that bite that could propel you to the $100,000.
There you go.
And you guys already seen, I wrote a story yesterday. Hopefully you've all read it. Patrick Walters is the king right now. There's no other way to say it. He is the king of 2023. And if you ask me, he's currently the king of bass fishing. I mean, there's nobody smooth, calm, Patrick Walters. And he won his third NPFL tournament this past
week. Yeah, he's had a heck of a year across the board.
I mean, how many, what is it, like the century belts? What does he got, like 4 of them or something like that? And
I know.
Holy cow. What an event. What a year for him as well. I mean, I'm not sure what his dollar amount is up to right now, but I think he's done took home, I think, what did he win? 2 events this year, and I think 1 event last year, or 1 event. I know he's up to like over $200,000 in NPFL. NPFL money. Easily. That's just NPFL money.
Yeah.
You're talking about bass money. And guys, we've had him on here. And if you watched or listened to the podcast, he's building a brand new house. And I think it should be almost paid for. I just want to say that. Thank you, man. He's probably saying, thank you, guys. I got to pay cash for a house.
Yeah.
But guys, NPFL Pro, Mr. Todd Goade is on with us tonight. He was the Angler of the Year for the 2023 season. You want to talk about a year? He finished, this is no lie, guys, no less than 10th place in every event.
That is insane.
Geek, this is the best year for any angler that we have spoken to on Bass Cash Radio.
Yeah.
The best year. I'm not lying, best year. He took home $20,000. A 900-pound trophy, because I picked that bad boy up from Mr. John Soka. And guys, I don't know why you're not fishing it. And he gets all his entry fees paid for 2024.
Wow!
Did you guys just hear that? You win Angler of the Year. I did
not know that.
Yes, all his entry fees are paid for 2024. If I remember correctly, we're gonna knock him up for that. But if I remember correctly, what they were saying on stage, everything was paid for 2024.
Wow, that is a deal right there.
That's deal, awesome. Guys. I mean, why aren't you fishing in PFL? I mean, and you know what? They might not have the 8 billion people watching on TV, but they got a crap load watching, and they've built up a heck of a stage for a lot of anglers to fish. A lot of 9 to 5 anglers. Let's get Mr. Todd Goade on right now and talk about it all. Todd, man, appreciate you coming on Bass Cash Radio tonight and talking with us. Congratulations on one of the best seasons for any angler who actually won an AOY for 2023. I brought that up a little while ago. You did not finish any lower than 10th place. Pickwick Lake, 10th place. Right, Patman Lake, 5th place. Santee Cooper, 2nd place. Lake Eufaula, 10th place. And Lake Lanier, 3rd place.
That's incredible.
Thank you. It's been a dream season, guys. It's been just it's something. I mean, I'll remember this year till the day I die. It's just one of those dream seasons.
1,470 were your total points for the year. Congratulations. Todd, before we start the questions, man, let's turn back the clock a little bit and talk about you for a minute and get you to introduce yourself and how you got this fishing bug.
Well, again, Todd Goade. I live in White Pine, Tennessee. My dad got me fishing when I was 5, 6 years old. Actually, I grew up just outside of Springfield, Missouri, in a little town called Rogersville until I was 13. And we moved to East Tennessee, just outside of Kingsport. But my dad took me to a farm pond when I was probably 6 or 7, and I caught a 5-pounder on a topwater plug. And it blew up like 10 foot in front of me on the bank. And I was hooked. I was hooked ever since. the very first bass tournament I ever fished. I was 16 years old on Boone Lake, up in the Tri-Cities, up in Kingsport, Johnson City. They used to have this event. It was the first one. Kingsport had their Fun Fest in the summer. Well, Johnson City had Spring Fest, and I won the first tournament, the Spring Fest tournament. There was like 86 boats in it, and I won that tournament. And I was a junior in high school. I won $1,500 and thought I
wow, dude.
Talk about being hooked. Win your first tournament you ever fish. I mean,
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's been, here I am 55 years old, and I'm just as excited about bass fishing today as I was when I was a kid back then. And I guess the day that ever goes away is the day I quit fishing, but I don't see it happening anytime soon.
Especially for a whole nother year. Like I said, you got everything paid for 20, beside the gas in the tank and some meals. I mean, entry fees are taken care of. A lot of people looked at the NPFL when it started a couple years ago, and this is your second season in the NPFL. And, a lot of questions after the first year, a lot of questions now, but I mean, things are moving right along. But what made you decide to jump into the NPFL?
I've been good friends with Al McCullough for several years, and I actually committed to fish the inaugural season. I think I was the second angler that had committed. And we had bought 65 acres up here in East Tennessee. We were planning building our forever home, and our oldest daughter lives in Bristol with our grandson. So we were up here trying to get closer to the grandbaby. And my youngest daughter was a senior there in Georgia at Collins Hill High School. And we just had so much going on, and I had to call Al and back out. I'm like, man, I couldn't give 100% to the league with all the other things that were pulling at me.
Right.
And I also had a day job. I was in national account sales for the largest pest control company in the world, selling, large multi-million-dollar deals. So it just wasn't a fit at the time. So got all that settled. And last year, had the opportunity to come back and jumped at it and was ready. We were settled up here. Our youngest daughter's in college on a softball scholarship, and it's just timing. And the league's gone through their ups and downs. Some of it's self-inflicted, some of it's not. But I know the heart of the group and the servant mentality they have when it comes to taking care of the anglers and trying to make the best experience for us and the fans. And Brad says it all the time. He's like, we're going to do all of the stuff behind the scenes where you guys can just go out and catch them. And, I think, I know with what's going on in the fishing industry now, I mean, the NPFL had a lot of eyes on it at Lake Lanier, and we do so many things right in the league, from the broadcasts and being able to show forward-facing sonar, and let the anglers talk about what they're doing and teach the fans, and that stuff that none of the other organizations have done. And that's putting them on the map. It's hard to fit in, in a lane that had two major organizations in it to find their lane, and they found their lane. And
it's true.
I think now that, me knowing a lot about the business side of the sport too, I just don't see how the endemics can't come knocking now after a bumpy first year. Two really solid years. I think really bright times are coming for the NPFL. I see the wave coming.
I agree 110% on that. I mean, I really do. After what we saw in Major League Fishing, wow, that's all we got to say. What happened there, last week, all the changes that they're going through. Guys, you're crazy if you don't jump on the NPFL. I mean, you guys got Patrick Walters, you got John Cox fishing the NPFL. A lot of elite anglers fishing the NPFL, fish other events as well. But I mean, you are crazy not to fish it. I mean, it's 3 days of fishing. Like I said earlier, I mean, if you have to, if it goes bad 2 days, you ain't got to fish the third day. It's there if you want to, but you ain't got to, as far as I know. I mean, you can go home. I mean, if you don't want to waste a tank of gas, to go run up down the lake. But guys, you need to sign up and be a part of the NPFL. Let's talk about this season, my brother, man. What were some of the factors that allowed you to consistently perform in 2023, man? It helped you get through the entire season, man. That made it the season end up being.
Well, a lot of it's planning before you leave the house. The only lake I really hadn't fished was Eufaula, and I had been there in the mid 90s, for a day or two, and none of that played, but the planning, the strategy, the preparation before I leave the house, as far as I make a list 2 weeks before I leave for an event, and it probably kind of looks a lot like a NASCAR crew chief's inspection thing they take to the car. It's
Right.
It's a detailed list.
Yeah.
The first thing on the list is buy a fishing license. So
yeah.
And it's just very detailed of packing tackle and all of the things that you need to take, and then packing the boat for the event in the right way, the detailed way of things you think you're going to catch them on when you get there, but also packing the stuff in the truck that you got to take anyway in case they're biting something crazy, and you got to have it. I carry a lot of tackle with me, and I carry a lot of spare redundant things too. Like I had an extra trolling motor in the truck. I had an extra prop in the truck, one in the boat too. I actually carry an extra spare tire. Not only do I have a spare tire on the boat trailer, I had a spare tire in the back of the truck too. I mean,
good gosh, Todd.
Stupid planning stuff like that, because you can't have anything when you show up or on the way to an event. You just can't have anything that puts a wrench in it. So I do a lot of Google Earth study. I don't watch a lot of YouTube videos. I've never been good at catching other people's fish. I like to go and show up, and because I am a little older and I have a lot of experience. I just like to fish the conditions, water color, time of year, water temperature, a lot of those seasonal type patterns, and just kind of build my own pattern and let things evolve as the week goes. So a lot of planning, a lot of strategy. I mean, I can tell you specific instances what made me successful. Like at Santee, I knew the wind was going to blow a certain direction, and I normally fish across the lake from takeoff over there in the Rocks Pond and the Brickyard area. And I never went over there and practiced because I knew it was going to get blown out in the tournament. So I stayed on the Tall side of the lake and figured out really 2-3 key areas that I didn't have hardly anybody fishing in, and I had it to myself. Wow. And I cracked. Yeah. And, so making those kind of decisions, those are the kind of decisions I made all year, just making those, and they just worked out.
How do you think that these lakes set up for you based on what you like to fish and the tactics that you like to fish? I mean, like I said, guys, he didn't finish any lower than 10th place the whole entire 2023 season.
Well, I take a lot of pride in being versatile and being able to do a lot of things. I mean, I love catching them on a spinnerbait just as good as anybody. I love catching them on a topwater. I threw a buzzbait at Saginaw a lot. And then at Lanier, I'm looking at spotted bass out there 80 feet out on my active target too, Lawrence, throwing a shaky head at them. So you've got to be versatile. If you're going to compete at this level, you have to be able to do everything, really.
Right.
It's kind of hard for a one-dimensional person to kind of make it, unless you're John Cox and you fish 300 tournaments a year, But other than that, you got to. I take a lot of pride. I have a lot of experience. I've been able to fish a lot of places across the country, living in a lot of different areas. And growing up in East Tennessee, we used to say it up here when I was in college: if you can catch fish on the lakes in East Tennessee, you can about go anywhere and be successful. And there's things that, like last year at Cumberland, when I finished 3rd or 4th, the water came up like 8 feet in 2 days. Wow. And I knew what to do. I knew what to do because
I remember that tournament.
Yeah, I remember,
Yep.
I knew what to do when that stuff happens, like at Douglas and Cherokee. That happens all the time. And just to be able to apply some East Tennessee knowledge to that, just a lot of experience is really paying off.
Yeah, and you're right. East Tennessee, from Knoxville up. I mean, there's so many. It's such a diverse, so many diverse fisheries. You've got, grass in the Tennessee rivers. You've got the highlands reservoirs. I mean, it's there's a lot of well-rounded, anglers that come from this area.
For sure. Yeah. And I think it's just because of the kind of conditions that we end up having to fish up here.
Yeah.
So makes us all pretty well-rounded.
I think that was on display this year by Mr. Todd.
100%.
Yeah.
Throughout the years that, as the year started off, when you looked at the schedule, did you say, okay, looking ahead, we always look at the schedule and be like, okay, I think I can do good here. I think I can do good here. This is going to be, this is going to fish to me. And, it's almost, you guys don't think about this. It's really the time of the month or time of the week that we hit these lakes that probably has almost as much to do with it than the actual lakes themselves.
It does. And, I finished 13th in AOY last year, and my worst finish was at Hartwell, which is one of my favorite lakes. I had a fish penalty that cost me £1 that really cost me $10,000 and a top 10 in AOY last year. But I say all that to say, I went there with preconceived notions of how I thought I was going to catch them and how good I was going to do. And the fish, I missed it. And the 53rd place finish was a direct reflection of that. So I look at schedules as we all have to deal with the same conditions.
Right.
I've been one to complain about going anywhere, or, just tell us where we're going and when, and I'll be there and let's fish. I mean, it's the same.
There you go.
Heck yeah.
And that's one of the things. I mean, I've known Castledine for a while, and I haven't talked to him or messaged him or anything, but that video he put out, I kind of want to kick him where it hurts for bashing the NPFL on that, because just put your big girl pants on and go fishing. I mean, it's the same for everybody, and I'm glad we don't have a spawning tournament. I've never been a fan of fishing during the spawn. I'm not. Yeah, I'm not against it. Well, but let them do their thing, and and I like the fact. I mean, we went to Toho last year in November.
Yes.
Last event, and we jacked them there. I mean, Taylor Watkins had almost a 30-pound bag. Had like 2 high 20s bags. I mean,
yes,
they bite better in the fall in Florida than they do in January and February when all the other organizations go.
And I've always said, me and Brian have had this conversation. We've had it with guys, with elite anglers and everybody else. One of my favorite seasons has had to be when everything got delayed during COVID. It was tough. All those elite guys belly ached about it the whole time. But, I get it. I get the big bags sell. I get that. That's what everybody loves to see, and holding up the giants. But, I mean, come on. For the most part, scheduling for most of the elite tour and the MLF, all you got to be really good at is pre-spawn, spawn, and post-spawn. That's it, because that's what they fish. They follow it up the country. It's good. I want to see a professional angler do the things I can't. I want to see them do fish in September. I mean, from East Tennessee, September is, if you're from the South, that's one of the toughest times of the year. We want to see those tournaments. That's what we want to see. We want to see the guys fish these tournaments. Real anglers, the passing fans, sure, they want to see the big bags. But I want to see you go out there and do it when I can't. That's what I want to see. That's what separates you guys from guys like me, us weekend warriors. And for me, that was impressive to watch the guys go out and catch these fish in some really tough conditions at tough times of years. I'm not saying do it all the time. But
like you said, that's what we're doing. We're learning. We're learning, man. I mean, and watching you guys fish later in the year, all the way up through October. I mean, we still fish around here. I mean, I'm 2 hours from you all, maybe about 3. No, I'm longer than that. What am I talking about? I'm crazy. I'm like 5 hours.
Yeah.
But I mean, up here next to Smith Mountain Lake, that's my home lake, clear, big body of water. So, I mean, the boys up here, they fish all freaking year. I mean, it's no stop unless it's ice or snow on the ground. I mean,
That's
we
it.
jerk out the scales. I mean, they're begging now for a winter series. So, I mean, we love watching. Go ahead.
I was just going to say that was another thing I love about the NPFL. We fish all of the seasons, and
yes,
we get to fish in the fall. And I know I've won more money in the fall than any other time of the year. I love fall fishing.
Nice.
And I also love wintertime fishing, and I'm really looking forward to Logan Martin the end of January. I mean, and that's going to be a cold water crankbait, chatterbait, couple jig, few other things. But I mean, we're going to catch them there. I mean, there's going to be some big bags there. But the business side of the thing too, the NPFL goes to places that a lot of other organizations don't go to, like a Logan Martin now, because I think, and this is just an outsider looking in, and it's, of course it's my opinion, but I see some of these organizations go to the same place every year because it's easy. They get a host fee every year. They know it's need, so they go back. And I really think that the fan is getting tired of seeing some of these organizations go to the same place every year. I
agree.
They need to change it up too. And the NPFL does a fabulous job of taking us to diverse fisheries. And there's a Logan Martin on the schedule. Yeah, we're going to the St. John's, but we're going out of DeLand. I mean, that's
right.
That's 50, 60 miles away from where the other organizations usually fish in the St. John's. And it's going to be different. And it's in September. And, I like that. I'm glad we're going back to Hartwell. That's going to be a really good event post-spawn. But then Saginaw, we are going back to Saginaw. They love us up there. It's a great event. They just do a really good job of trying to get us in places that other organizations aren't going, like Wright Patman this year. I mean, who doesn't love catching an 8-pounder in 1.5 feet of water on a swim jig? I mean,
I don't know of anybody.
Yeah.
If they do, there's something wrong with them. If they don't like that, they're dead. That's all I know.
They're dead, And Santee, the time of year we went to Santee, everybody was complaining about it's going to be post-spawn, it's going to suck, the weights are going to be terrible, and look what we did. I mean, we cracked them. So
that's awesome. You were talking about last year just barely missing the AOY championship. What do you think, Todd, kept you grounded this year in 2023? To help you from being spun out and not claiming the trophy. It's right behind you for everybody watching on YouTube.
Well, I don't get spun out. I really don't. Nothing bothers me. If I lose a fish, I lose a fish. But if I make a bad decision, nothing spins me out anymore. I'm at the age now where, if I make a bad decision, I'm just stupid. If I lose a fish, it's probably because I screwed it up. And nothing spins me out. I can't really look back at any event last year that kept me out of the top 10 except for Hartwell. And I know where there's at Hartwell the best spawning, like the best herring spawn place on the lower end of the lake. I got to it the first morning and caught 13 pounds off of it really quick, and then I never got to fish it again because a couple other guys saw me. You go out in reverse order, and I never got to fish it again the rest of the week. And that's just fishing. So, but nothing really spins me out. I just think, I don't know, getting off to a good start at Pickwick. I mean, I only weighed in 3 fish the first day at Pickwick, but I lost 2. I lost a 4-pounder and I lost a keeper on a jerk bait that clued me in on what I needed to be doing. And I went out and caught 18 the second day, and 15, 16 the third day to finish 10th. So
nice.
That was a tough event. And I remember being in like 32nd or 33rd place after the first day. And I was like, man, I screwed up 2 fish today and I'm not out of it at all. And I ran straight back to the area I was in, and I had like 14 pounds in 30 minutes on the spot.
Nice.
And so I just don't get spun out. I think about, at the end of the day, I kind of relive and think about how things went and what I did, and if there's anything I could do better. And it's just worked out.
Well, you got a tip on it not being spun out? Because, so many young anglers out there that, we always, for professionals, 90% know what to do. They've watched the video, they've done the practice, they put the time in on the water, because when you're putting $5,000 on the line, you better have your butt ready, because I mean it feeds a whole lot of kids, you know what I'm saying? Puts a whole lot of tanks of gas in the car. But do you have any tip for a young angler to help them from keeping that mind straight through the entire event?
I would say the biggest tip I could give is don't get a preconceived notion of how you think you're going to catch the bass in the tournament. You've got to have an open mind to be able to adapt and adjust. And I use Lanier. I've been fishing that place for 20 years. I lived down there for 20 years. I know most of the fish live in 30 foot of water. And
wow.
I specifically practiced some shallow fish because there is a little shallow bite that goes on. And I ended up, finding some shallow fish, and the deep fish didn't bite the second day of the tournament. I mean, I saw them on active target, and I saw them, follow my bait down, and
we lost him, everybody. All right.
Yeah, one tip I would give to young anglers is to don't get spun out. Don't get set in your ways thinking you can catch them one way, because a lot of times patterns change throughout an event, and you got to be able to adjust. And I practiced at Lanier specifically. I practiced 2 or 3 different ways to catch them, and I was able to. I think I was one of the few to capitalize on the shallow bite early in the morning. A lot of people think it's just a brush pile deal there, and there was some other things going on besides that I was taking advantage of in the first 2 hours or so of the morning. And one of my buddies in the tournament didn't really have a good final day, and I think he got caught up in fishing the brush pile deal and didn't adapt and change up and kind of spun himself out. So just, I guess, the tip would be always keep an open mind, and try, if you're not getting a bite, if you're at Lanier and you fish 10 brush piles and you don't catch one, go do something else.
Yeah.
Go fish a shallow point somewhere. I mean, there's reef poles everywhere. And go out there and fish 10 foot deep instead of 30 that you've been fishing. Just change it up.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, if they ain't biting on brush piles, you definitely need to go find something else. I mean, like you said, I mean, we all know tons of them everywhere in lakes. People hide Christmas trees, you name it. I mean, there's many, many different things that you can find fish on in the right water column. So, I mean, 100% true. Looking back on the season, man, is there a time or a moment that you can take away that was one of them aha moments, or, I think I got the Angler of the Year championship wrapped up?
There was a time, it was Saturday morning, not at about 9:30, when I had 17 pounds in the box.
Yeah.
when I knew I had the AOY wrapped up, because everybody caught him this year. And I mean, Jesse went into the event 12 points behind me, and Will's right there behind me. I mean, and I'd said this more than once, it was going to come down to the final day at Lanier, and that's exactly what happened. And the fishing for me was tough Friday. I caught them shallow early, and I lost a big one. I had a big one blow up my top water, and didn't get it. Like a 5-pounder would have given me another 17 probably for the day. But I fished place after place after place Friday after lunch, changing it up, and they wouldn't bite, and they were there, and they wouldn't bite. And my mentality after that second day, Friday night, back at the house, I mean, my mentality was, if I don't catch them in the first 2 hours in the morning, I could zero Saturday. Right. I mean, that's where my brain was, because Lanier's burnt me before. I mean, I love that place, but I missed the All-American by 6 ounces there one year. I missed it by 2 ounces one year too. So
holy cow.
Yeah. And the place I was going to start on, if this is any kind of aha moment, but if there was a place, the place I was going to start on was where they were schooling Friday morning about 9:30. But on my way down there was the place that I'd caught a couple of good ones each morning the first 2 days, and I'm running down the lake, and there's local tournaments going on,
right.
a lot of boat pressure the final day. I look over there and nobody's on that spot. And I kind of did a Randy Howell in the Classic at Guntersville a few years ago, and I peeled it over there, and I catch 2 big ones there, like right off the bat. I catch a 2 3/4, and then one about 3 1/2, and it's like 8:15, 8:20 in the morning. So I was like, let me go to the schooling spot. And I come around the corner into Big Creek thinking there'll be somebody there, and there was nobody there. And I was like, wow. Oh, you got to be kidding me. There's nobody on the spot. And I mean, I jacked them for the next hour. I mean, I caught several big ones there. And it was just at 9:30 in the morning to know you had won AOY. I could finally take a deep breath. And it's like, man, I can just enjoy the rest of the day. This is going to be a lot of fun. So
that is so awesome.
That is awesome.
You brought up earlier, you're like doing some winter bass fishing. It's one of your favorite times, man. What's on your boat, man, Todd? What do you got lined up on your boat for, wintertime bass fishing?
Well, in East Tennessee, and Geek will know this too. I mean, it's getting close to rattle trap season.
Yeah.
They're biting a spook pretty good out here at Douglas and Cherokee. You can catch them on a little crankbait, a little square bill. You can catch them on a spinnerbait. You can catch them on a pulse jig. So there's a lot of ways to catch them right now. But as the water gets colder and into the 40s, that little jig bite gets good.
Right.
You catch them on a trap up here all winter. I mean, they love a trap in 40, 45, 46 degree water. So I like fishing that way. And it's funny. You catch fish in that cold of water in 2-3 foot of water up here. I mean, it's fun fishing. So that's what I'll have on my deck this winter.
That's awesome, brother. I got one more question for you, man, before we let you go. By the way, thank you for coming on tonight and talking with us. It's a pleasure to meet you. Like I said, congratulations on one of the best seasons I've seen from any angler.
Yeah,
in your
period.
Your years of putting in the work has paid off, and that trophy behind you is just, one exception of the hard work that you've put in. If you could title this podcast yourself, what would you call it, man?
Wow, that's a
finally.
That's a pretty cool question. I think I would call it I just did my job in 2023, because that's been my motto all season. Yep, I just did my job. Your
motto.
That is awesome.
Fat Cat got mad at me too. He's like, he's like a mashup after Sunday night's roundtable. Like, I'm just doing my job.
I see that.
No, that's what it is. I mean, and I started at Saginaw. I was like, there's whatever it was. There was 12 competition days left, or 9 competition. I just got to catch them 9 days. And when I got to Eufaula, 15 bass. I got to do my job. I got to weigh 15 bass.
There you go.
And I did my job. So, yep, that would be the name of the podcast. Todd Goade did his job.
There you go. Perfect.
That is awesome. Congratulations. You're awesome. Good luck in 2024. Guys, by the way, the 2024 schedule, I'm going to bring it up here again. I got it up here. Is already up. Guys, stop number 1 is on Lake Logan Martin. You guys going out of Oxford, Alabama. Then Lake Amistad, going to Texas. Then they're going down to probably the closest for us is back to Lake Hartwell in South Carolina. And then going to Pickwick, but I'm not sure how far is Pickwick from us, Geek. It's quite a long way.
For you, it's a long way. It's a few hours from me. It's probably a couple hours longer than that.
Because I can get to Hartwell in 5 hours. So I mean, it's faster for me to go that direction, because it takes me 5 hours pretty much just to get into Knoxville.
It only takes me 2, I think, to get to Knoxville.
All right, so we got Pickwick Lake again. That's in July, and Saginaw Bay in August, and then St. John's, and that is the 26th through the 28th. That's stop number 5. So it's going to be another interesting schedule as well. Todd, man, before you go, anybody, I know the Safe Haven, you guys got your title sponsor up there on top of your head. Is there anyone else that you like to thank for making 2023 one you'll never forget?
Well, I had so many great partners this year, and I hope I don't leave anybody out, but I did something I haven't seen anybody else do in fishing either. And you remember back when Dale Earnhardt was running races all the time, and they used to do the hat dance afterwards. You had the Unicow guy with the gray beard and the gray hair, and he would hand hat, for all the sponsors, that hat in front of the car, picture. After when I won AOY, I did that for every one of my sponsors, and I've sent them all emails and texts and thanking them for the support.
That's so awesome.
So they can use on their social media, to help grow their brands and be able to showcase, that they supported not only me, but their products work, and I use them and I believe in them. And, it's companies like Zoom Baits. And I mean, I've known those guys for 15 years, just incredible. Green Pond Landing there at Lake Hartwell, Neil Paul has sponsored me for years. Him and I are great friends. He's just a super nice guy. John Meagle Chevrolet there in Dawsonville, Georgia. They're a fishing community. They sell a lot of trucks to fishermen, and they've always taken good care of me over the years. And Bait Works there in Springfield, Missouri. I mean, they've got over 20,000 SKUs. Mm-hmm. They've got a big online, presence, and they've been a great supporter of me too. Of course, Lowrance, Skeeter, Yamaha, Power Pole. That Power Pole charge is ridiculously good. Lithium Pro batteries. I mean, I can't tell you how many times, probably every time I get back at the end of the day, when I push the button on my Ghost trolling motor, it still says green for full. I mean, and
that's awesome.
It's ridiculous how good that stuff is. Seagar, Z Decals is the best boat wrap and vehicle wrap business, and they do carpet graphics. They're the best in the business there in Flowery Branch, Georgia. Bahio sunglasses, and I got to give it up to Trent Palmer at Sonar Pros too. I mean, just they do an incredible job. Cast Fishing, Ryan Hanks, one of the owners there, just top-notch guy. They've got some really cool stuff coming out. Geek, you would really like what he's coming out with, this Echo bait.
I talked to him the other day. I know Ryan pretty good. Yeah,
that's going to be awesome. And Tim, the owner of Angler Tungsten, just super. Yep. I've partnered with really great people. Just
y'all know Tim.
They're really, really good people, and I can't thank all of them enough for the support. It's been an amazing year.
All right, guys, you heard it right here. Appreciate you again for being on the show. Thank you so much for talking with us. Congratulations on a great season. You guys here 2024. Make sure you show up at an event. Give them a follow. Todd, social media. I know you're on Instagram because that's where we kind of reached out. Is there any other platforms you're on, brother?
Yeah, I'm on Facebook. A couple places at Todd Goade, and then Todd Goade Fishing is my athlete page, and then I'm also on TikTok at Todd Goade. So. Yep, follow along. Appreciate it.
All right, guys, follow the journey. Appreciate you talking with us, guys. We're going to be right back. All right, guys, man, really appreciate Todd coming on and talking with us. Mr. Todd Goade, everybody. What an awesome season for him. Like we said, you're crazy. I mean, I'm serious. For all you guys who are looking to make the jump from that other series, you're all pissed off right now. We've seen the videos. We've seen the podcast. We've seen the photos. Head on over to the NPFL, man. I mean, they run a great, and it ain't but 8 of them. It's like 8, 9, 10 people run this whole thing.
Oh, I would say if I was a betting man, which I am, that there'll be a few.
Yes.
Be a few MLFers.
Yes. And there's 1 or 2 we've had on the show that are looking at going back.
Yes. So I would say that league is going to not have to worry, because there was a few anglers short of the full field that they wanted this year.
Right.
And I'd say there'll be a waiting list.
Yes.
This year.
I agree.
So
So get the contract signed, get signed up for 2024. It's going to be an awesome season. I'll watch it. I ain't gonna lie to you guys. I love bass fishing, and I check out every event that I could check out. Usually for me, it's usually Friday afternoon or Saturday. We always, I was watching the final day in the grocery store, like sometimes I usually am, or on a lake or wherever. But yeah, NPFL guys, make sure you guys sign your contract, and get ready to fish the 2024 season.
I just can't help but look at this league and kind of think of it as the new and improved FLW. I think that is a pretty good comparison if you think about it.
Yes, I agree. And sometimes I do miss FLW. I'm not gonna lie.
I think this fills in a lot and does a better job at it.
Yes. Like he said on there a little while ago about it's a family run organization.
Yeah.
They're all a team. I haven't had the opportunity to meet him yet. I am trying my best. We're going to sit down here probably after Thanksgiving and go through schedule. And I want to go to Hartwell for one of their events because I really would like to meet everyone. And, just that team. And we've seen a lot of other trails. There ain't that team. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they say that for the team. They say that for the man.
Yeah.
But after we saw them videos last week blow up on this dag on social media from everybody from David Dudley to you name it, woo-wee. NPFL's got the door wide open. Let's get this field filled up for 2024. Guys, appreciate you listening tonight. Appreciate you being a part of the Basscast Radio. By the way, all your podcasting platforms is where you can listen to Basscast Radio. Head on over and follow Mr. Bass Geek. And let's get him to 80,000. Let's get it to 80,000 by the end of the year, guys. Let's set him free. Have a great night, everyone. And we'll be talking to you all next week.